Go.
Hello again. This is on farms and ranches, a follow-up of the previous. What we were left with was the farms will get a National Agricultural Preserve. Now, with that, what that basically means is this. The federal government, the state government, the county, the city, the townships, anyone has no say over the land, no ownership of the land. It cannot be taken away by anyone, no encroachments at all by anyone on this land. As long as this land is being used primarily for what it was purpose, and the purpose is to save the farmlands for us all. That's the whole purpose of this. Now, one of the problems we've always faced, just the general public, is that when someone dies, if a farmer dies, and his family don't know what to do, or they may want to take over the farm, and that would be a wonderful thing. However, today, many of the young people on farms, they rather go to the city where the nightlife is. And, I can perhaps understand that. But what I heard when I was at this meeting with the ARC group, then I talked with the Cabot people. He says there's people coming from the city that are working on some of these farms, wanting to learn how to grow crops. And some are actually doing it just for meager wages, but what they would like to do is get into the farming business, to go out of the fast life that they're in now, and they don't like it. Just, to quiet down. Now, one thing about the farmland, and I worked in a home that had a huge farm of all kinds of animals and all kinds of stuff, but farms are not easy work, okay? You have to get up, do your job, and if you're on a ranch, like I was working on, they have what they call, milking cows, not with machines, but by hand. And you had to be there because the cows remind you. They come marching in and they're making all kinds of racket, letting you know it's time. They want to get milk so they can go back out and eat. They remind you. And it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, and then when you come home from school, and then go there again, and you're about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, the idea of working on a farm has always been, how would you say it? It's like it was in the West, okay? The kids go out and they have different chores. Well, it still applies that way with them. But like I said, some of them want to leave that workload and they want to go to the fast life. Well, in order for that farm to move on to the National Agricultural Preserve with the benefits of that, the only person that can buy that farm has to be a farmer to take it over. Now, they can take it over in the family's name and work it. They can work some deal within themselves. That's not the government. That's not going to be, I'm not going to tell them how to do that. They know how to do this themselves. Farmers have been doing this for centuries. So no one has the right to interfere how to run a farm or a ranch. I mean, that's stupid. Anyone in Congress, or they think they know about this. They know nothing about farms. Even the man or woman who takes over the farm, what do they call them, the agricultural secretary. I'm going to require that person has to have a hands-on operation, knowing how to run that program. I don't want some lawyer who spent 5 minutes reading a book on agriculture go out and tell people how to do things, because it won't get done the way farmers and ranchers have been doing for a very, very long time. The idea of no subsidies. we spend probably billions of dollars in subsidies telling farmers not to grow crop because we've overloaded the system. Well, that may be, but we're not going to pay any subsidies to any farmer on these programs, period. Nope, we're not going to pay subsidies to anyone whether you're on it, because that's ludicrous. You build something, you make it happen, and you do it. Now, one thing we can do, we'll always have a need for in this country, is alcohol fuel. People claim that, oh my gosh, all these farms are going to make all this alcohol. My gosh, someone said, oh, well, how are we going to feed the ducks? How are we going to do this? We can't have cornmeal bread anymore. I mean, I've heard so many things when I talk to people in the store. It's almost ridiculous. We've got farmlands that are not producing anything, and we're paying them not to produce. So we can do almost anything. We can always do that. Remember I said, in America, we can do anything, and that's how true it is. We can make farms turn into the fuel of our future. And until another fuel comes along to take its place, to make sure that it can take its place, because we've tried to do all kinds of things by interfering with the natural capitalistic way of running things. Today we destroy one industry because we got this new one, but the new one hasn't worked yet. That's dumb. We haven't built electric cars that you can't plug into somewhere, okay? We have one. It takes forever, and they're brand new batteries when you use them. So it's burning fuel somewhere, isn't it, folks? Somewhere it's fun. Then we have fuel, and they go in, they plug them into stations and everything else. I mean, okay. And you got all these other fuel things. Hydrogen? Oh yeah, hey, that's great. We got a bundle of hydrogen, but we have no areas to place them. And if you have no areas to place them, they don't exist. It'll take years and years. So for the time being, I say we stick with the fuels we have and go with them all the way we can. So we may find many farmers will vote to plant their crops of fuel for us instead of any other product that they have an abundance of. So I think that should end the idea of fuels. It also ends farmers and ranching people. I love them dearly. They've given us so much for all of us. And thank you very much for listening to me. And I'll be speaking of the oceans in my next talk with you. Thank you for your time.